Do you want infinite money in Gran Turismo 7? Do you want to buy every car from the Legends dealership, buy all 500 plus cars in the game without even having to drive at all? So there's a number of money making methods in the game. You can grind laps on Sardinia, Le Mans, grind the rails around Tokyo Expressway, but all of it requires hours and hours and hours of effort, repetition, just to be able to buy a couple of cars a week. So we're going to look today at the tried and tested Daytona AFK grind. We're going to go through a full tutorial of everything you need to do to set it up so that you can be earning millions of credits without having to lift a finger. Let's go. To get started, you're going to need to fulfill 3 criteria. You're going to need 2 million credits, you're going to need to be collector level 50, and also have completed the gold circuit experience on the Daytona road course on all 3 sectors and the full lap. Completing this circuit experience is the hardest part of the setup, so if you've done it already, great. If not, then it's really worth grinding out as long as it takes to do this. Once you've done enough laps, it's not too difficult once you learn the course. Completing the circuit experience gives you the highest credits bonus for quick races, and this also applies to custom races as well, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Now we're going to go and build the cars. So the idea here is to take advantage of the payouts that are rewarded when you win a race in a slow car against a fast car. First of all, we're going to set up our fast car here. So you head over to Brand Central and purchase yourself the Dodge SRT Tomahawk X VGT. Then head over to the tuning shop and we're going to buy the following items. From the Club Sports tab, we want to buy the power restrictor and the ballast. In the semi-racing tab, we want the fully customizable computer, the fully customizable LSD, and the fully customizable manual transmission. From the racing tab, we would need some racing brake kits, a brake balance controller, fully customizable suspension, fully customizable racing transmission, and the racing soft tyres. We don't need to have anything from the extreme or the ultimate tab. Head over to your car settings and create yourself a new settings sheet. I've called this one Grind. You probably don't want to make it your only settings sheet in case you want to go back and drive the car in its normal mode. I won't go through all of the numbers on the screen here. This would be a good opportunity for you to pause the video, take a screenshot, or indeed I have written out everything in text in the description below the video here. Work your way through the settings here. Make sure you match all of these. The important thing, of course, is that we want to restrict the top speed of the car, which we've done so with these gear ratios. Make sure you copy these settings exactly so that your PP matches what we see here at 1381. This is now the Tomahawk fully set up and ready to go. Next, we're going to go and buy our slow car. Here it is, the Honda Beat from 1991. The oldest, most broken, damaged car in the game is the perfect vehicle for the Daytona AFK grind. You can use similar cars such as the Fiat 500 with similar type builds, but for this video we're going to focus on this particular build as I've found this to be the most effective. This car can be purchased from the used car dealership. Of course it does rotate in and out every few days. Maybe you might have to wait a week for it, but I think most of us probably own this by now. And what we're going to be doing here is building ourselves a slow build so that we can maximize the potential earnings from the race, but then also a fast build so that the car is capable of beating the Tomahawks. First things first, we're going to buy a new engine for the Beat. You may already have this in your garage under your tuning parts. We're looking for the K20C1 Civic 20 engine. If you don't have the engine, of course you can always find it within the car maintenance and service menu on the bottom right of the screen here. In the tuning shop we need to buy these items for the Beat. There is a list of these in the description below the video. In the Sports tab, we need the Weight Reduction Stage 1 and the Comfort Hard and Medium tyres. From the Club Sport menu, we need to buy the Bore Up, the High Lift Camshaft, the Close Ratio Transmission Low, Weight Reduction Stage 2, the Power Restrictor and the Ballast. Under the Semi-Racing tab, we need to get the racing crankshaft, the fully customizable computer, the high RPM turbocharger, the height adjustable sports suspension, the fully customizable LSD, and the weight reduction stage 3. Under the racing tab, we need to buy stroke up, engine balance tuning, polish ports, anti-lag system, racing intercooler, racing air filter, racing silencer, racing exhaust manifold, the fully customizable suspension, the racing clutch and flywheel, the fully customizable racing transmission, and the racing soft tyres. In the Extreme tab, we need the nitrous system, and from the Ultimate tab, which is why we need to be collector level 50 to unlock this, the titanium connecting rods and pistons, and the high lift camshaft S. So again, make yourself a fresh settings sheet for a fast version of this car and use the settings that you see on the screen here. Again, pause, take a screenshot, read the description, it's all below the video. Do make sure that your gear ratios match these settings exactly, because you want to make sure that you've got the maximum top speed to be able to beat the Tomahawks once we're grinding against the walls around Daytona. You can also check, if you need to, that you've purchased all the correct tuning parts by seeing what's installed on the right hand side. Once you've got that, you should have the PP at around about 397, and then you can make yourselves a new settings sheet for the slow build. Here's the figures for the slow build then. Again, copy, screenshot, pause. Everything is all written in the description as well. Just be sure to make sure that your manual adjustment on your transmission is exactly this, because we want to have the biggest performance gap between this particular car and the Tomahawk, so that the game will then give us the maximum potential payout once we do the race settings. Do make sure that you've got all the settings exactly right, because your PP needs to be lower than 300. As you can see, we're on 299.12 here, so if you've copied all the settings I've got here, you should have the same numbers. You should also now have the two settings, so it's quite easy to switch between the two if you need to. Now, very important, before we go to do the race setup, and any time that we go to do the grind when you come back to it on future occasions, make sure that you have got your slow settings sheet loaded before you go in to load the race. So head over to World Circuits, choose Daytona, and bring up your custom race at the tri-oval. I've got some settings here to save ourselves some time. You can see that for winning the race, we'll get 426,000 credits. With the clean race bonus that we'll get about 90% of the time, that goes up to 639,000 per every 30 lap race that we do. I've set the laps as 30, that seems to be the sweet spot for credits per lap. If you go below 25 or over 30, you'll get a lesser rate of return, but you can still extend it if you find that you're going to be away for a bit longer, or indeed if you just want to not bother coming back to it for a little while. But I find that this that lasts 26 minutes is an ideal time for me to go away and do all my household chores that I should be doing instead of sim racing. We're setting up with a 20 car race, rolling start. We're going to be starting 20th, 50 metre intervals between the cars, no boost, weak slipstream, no tyre wear, no damage, no fuel, low grip, and nitrous. This one's important to set this as 10 so that your nitrous lasts for the full duration of the race. I think with these particular settings it runs out at lap 29, but that still gives us plenty of time to win the race with a massive lead. Set your weather to just be normal, clear daytime, and then the opponents, we need to make sure that we have set every car to be the Tomahawk. Every single car except ourselves. We need to make sure that rival difficulty is at professional level, as that will of course maximise the credits. We also need to make sure that the correct vehicle course after wall collision is turned on. Flags and other bits doesn't really make a difference. Always worth saving those settings so you can load them in really quickly in the future. We're now ready to load into the race. So there are a few more things to do at this point. So as we saw, our prize winnings are 426,000 that you can see on the top right there. However, what we've got here is our slow build Honda Beat. You can see at the top of the screen it still shows 299 pp, and that is not going to be quick enough to beat these Tomahawks. So head to settings, go to your car settings, and change your settings sheet from slow to fast. Reasonably simple. This will ensure now that your car is faster while at the same time it has preserved the prize winnings of 426k, which, as I say, goes to 639 with the clean race bonus. You may also wish to make sure that you've got automatic gears. You do not want manual gears because of course you're not going to be driving the car. It doesn't really matter what other assists you have on. I generally use everything off pretty much anyway. I have traction control set at 2. The last thing to do before we can begin the race is to check our controller setup, and this is where it's important to go to our options on the top left, tab over to controllers and make sure that your vibration on the controller is turned off. You don't want your controller moving around on the tables, of course. And then we also need to change our steering input to be motion sensor function. Once we've done that, we're just about there. The final stage is to prepare the controller. We need to be holding down the R1 and R2 trigger buttons at all times without having to touch the controller. Some people may prefer to use elaborate setups using things like elastic bands or hair bands or even Lego Technic frames, all sorts of things to hold the controller, but I find that good old sellotape does the job just as good as anything else. Once you've got that, grab yourself a game case because we need to mount the controller slightly steering to the right hand side. Once you've got that set up, it's all ready to go and we can begin the race. 30 laps and 26 minutes later, and you can simply retry as many times as you have time for. All you've got to do is just come back every 26 minutes, hit retry, and away you go. You can revisit the car settings screen and it will actually reset the mileage on the car so that you don't get oil wear, but I found that oil wear doesn't really make a difference to the speed of the car in terms of it being able to win the race. So I would normally do a session of grinds and then at the end, then you can top up your oil, do anything you need to do to maintain the beat if you need to. So that's how I've been able to build up all the credits and buy every car in the game. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on another video. Bye for now.